All right, how's it going, everybody? This is the Fantasy Sports Boss. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe, hit that notification button. Also, bop the like button if you can. Lots to discuss over the next couple of weeks. We have the NFL Combine that will be starting at the end of next week, going into the following week as well. And that's really, a key time in the NFL season, not only for the NFL draft, which I'm going to be covering exponentially. I've already released my NFL draft guide, which is available on Amazon if you haven't already purchased it. But the Combine brings all the top prospects together so they can do some measurements and open some eyes. And remember, at this time a year ago, Isaiah Likely, the rookie tight end for the Baltimore Ravens, who had a tremendous season as far as his debut is concerned, nobody knew who he was until he went crazy at the Combine, put himself on the map, and now is looking like he's got a really bright future. So these are the kind of storylines that tend to occur at the Combine. And also, with all of the NFL front offices together in one location, this is when you also get movement in the free agency, which is not officially open at that time yet, but the discussions will be ongoing. And then also those players who have already been released, like a Derek Carr, like a Robert Woods, could sign right on the dotted line. And I think that's certainly going to be a key point during this NFL offseason. Now, as far as the NFL draft, I wanted to talk about the cornerback position today. So probably the deepest position of any for the 2023 NFL draft is cornerback. We're going to see more cornerbacks drafted in the first two rounds than any other position, hands down. I mean, there's no doubt about it. We might even get as many as 6 cornerbacks drafted in round 1. Now, it's a sort of a situation where any of maybe 4 or 5 corners could be the number one guy off the board. For me, in the draft guide, I have Cam Smith of South Carolina, number 1. I have Joey Porter of Penn State, number 2. Keelan Ringo of Georgia, 3. Devin Witherspoon, 4. Christian Gonzalez, 5. I think all 5 of those guys are going in round 1. And what's interesting is I've seen publications that have Christian Gonzalez of Oregon number 1, and I have him number 5. Devin Witherspoon, the Illinois cornerback, some people have him number 1. So honestly, it comes down to what kind of cornerback a team needs. Any one of those 5 guys that I named could be the number 1 guy off the board. Now, wanted to take these guys one at a time. So we'll start with Cam Smith from South Carolina. I think he's going to be right there as the top cornerback off the board here. Now, reading from my scouting report that I put together in the draft guide, what you really got to like about Smith is that he has that classic agility, smooth hip turn, speed, change of direction on the dime kind of skills that make a true shutdown cornerback. These are all the traits that Sauce Gardner had coming out from Cincinnati last year. He went on to win the NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year, one of the best debuts at cornerback ever, probably since Darrelle Revis. So Smith has this ability, the smooth hip turn, explosive speed. He can stick with receivers all over the field. He has, and the ball skills are terrific. So Cam Smith's ball skills are very, very impressive. He knocks down a high number. He did knock down a high number of passes. You can close on the ball quickly if he does lose a step while he's out in coverage. He's also very physical. He can fight through blocks. So Cam Smith really has pretty much all you're looking for a future Pro Bowl cornerback. So now, like every player, there's some things you need to improve on. For Cam Smith, it's tackling. So he's not the most consistent tackler. He sometimes comes in a little bit too high. His technique could use a little bit of work, but that's something that can easily be worked on the NFL level. So I'm not totally concerned about him there. He has good hand skills in terms of warding off receivers and trying to gain positioning. But at times he can get a little too grabby, and that leads to some penalties. So he took some penalties while he was at South Carolina using this approach. So he needs to just fix that a little bit, not be so obvious with the hands so he doesn't draw penalties. But I think Cam Smith should be right there as one of the top cornerbacks off the board. Now, Joey Porter from Penn State, Joey Porter Jr., the son of the former All-Pro Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker. And the really ironic thing here is that the Steelers could very well draft the son, Joey Porter Jr. And I think if he's on the board and the Steelers have a crying need for a cornerback, this is absolutely an option for them. So I think that's something that bears watching. I have Porter number 2. I don't think he's going to be a top 10 guy. When I did this a month ago, and believe me, I changed my own personal rankings going up to the draft, but I have to get the draft guide out, so the rankings that I have at the time of publication might change. So I have put Devin Witherspoon ahead of Joey Porter, and I have Christian Gonzalez right there with Porter. So now, as far as Porter is concerned, he's a late bloomer. He didn't really show much up until the 2022 season. So he had his opportunity a year ago with the Nittany Lions, and he really balled out. Previously really didn't do much, but last season he was an absolute star for Penn State. So true shutdown cornerback, graded out very highly as a shutdown cornerback last season. Very, very long arms. So Porter Jr. has very long arms, and this is obviously a key trait for a cornerback because just the wingspan allows you to maintain your positioning, get your hand on a lot of passes, physically jam your guy at the line of scrimmage. These are all skills that Porter Jr. has because he's got very long arms, which that stands out above the other 4 cornerbacks who I think will go in round 1. And also he's a terrific hitter. He's a good tackler as well. Very, very textbook there. Uses those long arms to adequately wrap up the runner. Fight for positioning, swats down passes with those long arms, like I said. And now, as far as the negatives, the hip turn is not as great as Cam Smith. All right, so Joey Porter, more physical than pure athlete. All right, so the hip turn, not as great. The explosion, short area quickness is not at Cam Smith's level. Not at Christian Gonzalez level. Christian Gonzalez is the fastest cornerback in the among this class. He might be the fastest player in the entire draft. But he change of direction, hip movement is just a little bit tight. So it takes that extra half a second to change directions, which is not really what you want to see. But he's smart and he's textbook, he's sound. So I think that does allow him to overcome that a little bit. He's not overly physical either. He's not going to break free of blocks at a high rate like some other cornerbacks will. So not overly physical, and is not, doesn't have the smoothest hip turn, all right, in and out of transition. Now, Keelan Ringo from Georgia. Georgia defense stacked with NFL players the last couple of seasons for sure. I think Ringo now is trending more towards the middle of the first round, maybe even the back half of the first round. Now, just like Christian Gonzalez, he's got tremendous speed. He could run with any receiver in football, in my opinion. Press corner. Delivers a very good jam off the snap, very physical off the snap. He likes to get into the pad level of receivers, push them off of their route. And in today's NFL, that's what you want to see. You want to have physical cornerbacks like this that can deliver that jam, gain that instant advantage when you push a receiver off a route and disrupt the timing. Gem of an athlete for sure. Top end speed, top end explosion, top end change of direction, hip turn. What Joey Porter lacks, Keelan Ringo has. And also is a big hitter. Keelan Ringo can lay the wood. Absolutely. If your head is not up, he's going to drill you. That's something that you got to watch with Ringo. Now, as far as press coverage is concerned with Ringo, if his jam is not instantly successful, there were times that his receiver got behind him, his man got behind him, and he gave up some completions. So, while he does have good hip turn, sometimes he loses his man because he's looking too often. He's looking back at the cornerback and he's not paying attention to his guy. That gets him in trouble on occasion. Gave up some completions under such a scenario while at Georgia. And that's why I think he's going to move towards the back of round 1. Now, Devin Witherspoon, who I have 4th, has moved up the charts where he could be now the first cornerback drafted. And I have him now, with Christian Gonzalez right behind Cam Smith and ahead of Joey Porter. All right, physical, very hard hitter. That's what Devin Witherspoon is. Rare combination of size, speed that few players have. So when you have that size and speed combination, that's extra attractive to an NFL front office. 3-year starter, press coverage guy. So listen, he has a lot of experience with Witherspoon, and that that does count for an extra something. Whereas Joey Porter Jr., and it sounds like I'm knocking Joey Porter Jr., I'm not trying to do that, but he only has 1 year of really good experience, whereas Weatherspoon has 3. So, you usually take the guy that's got more experience. So, like I said, he was a press coverage guy. Also good off the snap. Uses his hands well to jam receivers. Tracks the ball well. Always is aware. He has good awareness. Knows where the ball is at all times. Very good tackler. So Witherspoon is a textbook tackler. Okay, doesn't let guys loose. He's can jar the ball loose as well with his hitting. He's got a solid frame of muscle where he can deliver some good hits. All right. Now, so he's on the short side at 6'1". For a cornerback, it's slightly below average in terms of height, and jump ball scenarios could struggle dealing with the bigger, taller receivers. Especially around the red zone, jump ball situations may not have. He doesn't have those long arms that Joey Porter has, so that could be a little bit of an issue for Witherspoon. Pushing through blocks. So he's not overly strong, Witherspoon. So pushing through blocks while he's trying to come up the field, make a stop in the running game, that's also not a strength of his as well. All right, so finally, Christian Gonzalez, the last cornerback I think will be taken in the first round. I know Antonio Johnson, Texas A&M, Brad Branch of Alabama, Clark Phillips III of Utah. These guys are close. They could get in there, but I think it's going to be 5 guys. And Christian Gonzalez, who reportedly has run below a 4.3 in the 40. Just unbelievable quickness. Might even be the fastest guy in the entire NFL draft, no matter what the position is. And he's moving up quickly. He could be the first cornerback. I think him and Witherspoon now, they might have passed Cam Smith to be the top guy off the board. I still like Smith above both of them, but wouldn't be surprised if any of those 3 become the first cornerback off the ball. True lockdown corner last season. He was legit, Christian Gonzalez. He locked down his man consistently. Smooth hip turn, change of direction skills off the charts, closing speed, fantastic. That speed it just plays all over the field for sure. He showed better ball skills last season. So the ball skills were a little bit lagging behind coming into 2022. He improved that last season, got his hands on a lot of passes, and certainly that speed helps him close lanes quickly if he does fall a step behind. Now, not the most physical corner, 6'2", 207. He's going to have his occasional struggles against the bigger, taller receivers, like, maybe Devin Witherspoon does as well. Not going to offer much at the point of attack in terms of a jam. That's Christian Gonzalez. So, again, these 5 guys I think are going to be the top corners. If I had to pick one that I truly believe will be the first off the board, I think it's Devin Witherspoon. I think that being a 3-year starter, lockdown cornerback, that's a good combination that teams are going to look at, and I think he's going to be the first off the board. Christian Gonzalez, though, wouldn't surprise me if he is a top guy either. All right, so yeah, cornerback is really deep. I'm going to be going over all these positions going forward. I'm going to be doing a lot on the NFL Combine, so hit the subscribe, hit the notification button. More videos on the way. Make sure you stay tuned.